Happy Odin's Day, 5th grade. Hope you're doing well. Today we're going to be looking at percents, L97, using percent to name a part of a group. And I'm confident you're going to do just fine. So it's always a good idea when dealing with percent to remind us quickly what the literal translation of that word is. Thousands and thousands of years old word, and it's simply of 100. That's what it means. So we can make things into percents by putting them of 100. Let's dive right in. Let's look at this first problem. Please write it down. It says, if 8 of the 20 students are boys, what percent are boys? So what we're given here is a nice kind of fraction to deal with, this 8 of 20, right? And that could be simply written as 8 of 20 or 8/20ths. Now, what your goal is this whole percent thing. This is currently of a 20. I don't want it of a 20. I want it of 100. So sometimes the numbers are really kind, as they are right here, because what I could do is, if I want to get this equal to something of 100, then what I could do is kind of kindergarten box that thing in and go, okay, so 20 times what equals 100? And whatever that what is, I got to do the same to the 8. And hopefully you have enough number sense that you know that 20 times 5 is equal to 100. Therefore, whatever I multiplied in that little green box, I got to multiply it here. And I would say 8 times 5 is clearly 40. Now, I ain't going to stop there because that's a fraction. What we're interested in today is a percent. So I know that 40 of 100 can be easily translated to 40%. And then I would want to answer this question, simply say, okay, what percent are boys? And I could say 40% are boys. And then that's a nice box up. I hope you'd agree. Let's do another. The statement is this: there were 400 beads in all. If 60 were red, what percent are red? So again, they're telling us about a whole, the whole being 400 beads. They're telling us a part, the part being 60 that are red. And so once again, a nice fraction that they've given to us, 60 of 400 or 64 hundredths. Now this one's a little different because before what we had to do is kind of kindergarten box in a multiplication problem. But here you see it's of 400 and I want it of 100. So this is something similar that we'll do when we're creating unit rates. In order to create a unit rate, instead of multiplying each of these, we're going to divide each of these to make sure that I get a denominator of 100, because that's what a percent needs. And so I'd say, okay, 400 divided by what equals 100? Well, hopefully you would agree that would be 4. And whatever I divide the bottom by, I have to divide the top by. And again, you might not know what 60 divided by 4 is. I already know it as a basic fact. But if you don't know it, guess what? You got the long division algorithm. So we know that 400 divided by 4 is 100. Well, what is 60 divided by 4? We'll set it up and figure it out, right? Because 4 into 6 goes 1. 6 minus 4 is 2. Bring down the 0. 4 into 25. 5 times 20. Boom, boom. 0 remainder. It must be 15. And it is. Then again, let's answer that question. What percent are red? Well, 15 of 100 is 15 hundredths. And therefore, I'd say 15% are red. And I could give that a nice box. Yeah? Hope you're doing well. Let's do more. Mas. The team won 2/3 of its game. What is the winning percentage? Those of you not super familiar with sports, winning percentage is just naming kind of the number of wins out of the total number of games. It's a good measure of how successful your team is. Now, they've been kind of kind to us in the numbers, right? Because they gave us something of 20. Well, we easily translated that to 100 by multiplying by 5. They gave us something like of 400. Well, all we had to do was divide by 4 to get to 100. But now they've given us this 2/3. There ain't no number that you can multiply 3 by, an easy number at least, that will get you to 100. So what can we do there? Well, we've explored this idea before. What you can always do is you can take a fraction, such as 2/3, and you can multiply it by 100%. Remember, 100% is equal to 1, so we're allowed to do that. Now, it might help you to remember that 100% sits above 1, and I should look for cross-canceling, but there is none. So I'll multiply straight across, and that 2 times 100% is clearly 200%, and that 3 times 1 is 3. Now remember, every fraction is a division problem, so I could set up what is 200 divided by 3. So I know 3 doesn't go into 2. It goes into 20 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. I subtract. I get 2 as a remainder. I bring down my 0. Ask again. 3 into 20, clearly 6 times. 18, 2. Now you know that in decimal land, or maybe you don't know this, but that would just keep repeating. But we're not going to go decimal. In fact, mixed number percentages are the goal and what we want. So we know that 2, that remainder, becomes my numerator, and my divisor is found to be my denominator. So I could say that they got 66 2/3%, don't forget the percent, winning percentage. And is that okay? Well, yeah, it ain't bad. In the NFL, that'll probably get you to playoffs, that's for sure. In different games, I don't know. It kind of depends. But we'd always want more, a greater winning percentage, especially if we're talking about like the Rammies or the Lakers or whatever. None of those other teams that you might like because you weren't born there. Born in LA, you've got one choice. No. Well, if you're born in Pittsburgh, I get it. Were you born? Oh, your family was born in Pittsburgh? Okay. Well, people from Pittsburgh or have family lines, yes, you can be Steelers. And only New Englanders, and you know how it works. Hey, let's do another. So in Miss P's class, hey, that's your class. 14 of the 20 students, STS, play archery. Really? Well, there's more than 20 students. How about in Mr. W's class? Soon you'll be in Mr. W's class. 12 of the 16 are archers. That just means someone who plays archery. So here's our question. Whose class has the greater percentage of archers? Well, we could think about Miss P's. If we're thinking about percentage, we want to translate this 14 of 20 into a percent. So we've seen this before. We can kindergarten box that thing. We know that 20 times 5 is 100. So 14 times 5, well, actually, I'm not sure what that is. 4 times 5 is 0. Carry the 2. 1 times 5, so 70. So we could say that Miss P's class has 70% archers. That's pretty good. I am proud. How about Mr. Dub's? Well, Mr. Dub is a 12 of 16. And you might go, wait a second, Mr. Muir, can't we reduce? Oh, yeah. And if it's helpful, you should. I would reduce this one, actually, because I don't really know how many times 16 goes into 100. But if I reduce it, and I think about GCF being 4, if I divide these both by 4, then I would get, what, 3/4. Well, if you're about to leave 5th grade, which you are, and you don't know what 3/4 is as a percent, I suggest you just learn it as a basic fact. Because 3/4 represent, like, think of cake, right? Think of 3/4 of a cake. What percent is that? Well, clearly that is 75%. So maybe this is for next year. And we could say that Mr. W's class has the greater percentage of archers. Archery. Kind of cool. All right. Oh, that's it? Really? That's it? Oh, I wanted more. This is so fun. That's all we get. Okay. C'est la vie. It is Odin's Day. Therefore, I'm giving you the real deal. Holyfield official homework of HW97, which was just officially assigned. We're clearly not testing this week, and we just keep plugging away. I can hear lesson 100. I can hear it in the distance. Here it comes. Hope you're well. You can reach out to me anytime you want or need or whatever. Bye.